And I know after our show, you're going to talk about the events that happened in Paris. And what do you think needs to be done to protect us here at home?
Yeah, well, that's our first and most important priority. And we've done a lot to protect ourselves more since the horrible events of 9/11 when I was a senator, and so I saw how much better we got at safety and security. So our country is further ahead, and here in New York City, our police department, the intelligence that they gather, the support they have from communities who are not at all reluctant to say, wait a minute, I saw something, I heard something. We have a very strong defense here, but you got to remain vigilant all the time. I mean, the adversary that ISIS is and the other related terrorist groups, you know, they are constantly using the internet. It is a new and very effective tool for them. So they can be sending messages to people who they're recruiting, who are sympathetic to them. And they don't have to come into our country if they can get people inside our country, like the Boston Marathon bombers, people who'd already been here, who'd gone to school here. If they can turn them into jihadists online, then they can try to direct them to do attacks here. So we have a slightly different problem, but just as equally important as the Europeans do. They've got a, you know, they're dealing with a lot of movement. So many more people left there to go to Syria. Now they're coming back. They've been in training camps. We've got to take a hard look at people who are already here, as well as keeping out any potential terrorists.
ISIS just issued that threat here in New York City.
That's
How
right.
serious do you take that? How serious should, you know, we who are raising our children in the city be taking that?
Well, I think you always have to take them seriously. I mean, one thing that you just have to accept is that when they make threats, they may be some distance from being able to deliver on those threats themselves, but they're hoping that some discontented person or group right here in our country will hear that threat. They showed a lot of pictures of Times Square, for example, and they will then try to plant the idea that maybe we can't bring people in, but you all out there who have some grievance, you could do something. And it's way too easy to get guns in our country. Terrorists can get guns who should never be allowed to. They're on the no-fly list, but they often aren't checked, or they can get guns online. So we do have to take it seriously. We have to be vigilant. However, that shouldn't affect how we live our lives.
Right.
And it's especially important with kids, and you have teenagers, and you have, I think, twins, right?
Twins, yeah.
Yeah, 12 or 13, 12 11.
Yeah.
And I think you've got to be honest with your kids, and you have to answer their questions sort of in a way that corresponds to their understanding and their age, and how much they really want to talk about it. But you also have to tell them that, you know, not to let those threats in any way kind of upset their minds or make them be afraid to go out. So
because that is the oxygen, right?
That
That's
is
the oxygen of the terrorists.
That's exactly
the fear
right.
is what
That's what they're trying to
keeps
do.
it alive, right?
They're trying to instill terror. That's why they're called terrorists. And if they can get people to, you know, shut down, not go about our daily lives, turn on each other, look at each other with suspicion and paranoia, and begin to kind of, you know, act as we don't trust anybody anymore, then that's the first step for sowing the kind of discord and divisiveness that has consequences. So I think I take all these threats seriously, but I don't think people should take them personally, in the sense that they shouldn't interfere with how we live our lives.
Live your life. Yeah. Live your life.